Hi, Dawn Lewis here with a very popular shadow box card, but today I am going to give it to you with Australian measurements. Yes, this is a piece of Australian A4 cardstock, which is 29.5 by 21 centimeters, a little different to the American cardstock. We're going to cut this in half and we're going to need both of these halves to make this card. Normally you just make two card bases from one of these sheets, but for this one we need the outer part of the card as well as the shadow box insert for the card. So these two pieces are 21 centimeters by 14.8 centimeters, and I'm going to score the first one. This is going to be the outer part of our card, right down the middle at 10.5 centimeters using my bone folder. Now I don't have a score tool, there's not room on my desk for one, so I like to reuse my trimmer. To be fair, I do have 3 trimmers, maybe if I got rid of one of them, but I like them all and I'm going to keep them. So we're going to score that, fold it, and make sure we really crease it in there good. We want all of our creases. They're going to do a lot of work. Before we put this to the side, we're going to trim 1.3 centimeters off the back of it. So now it looks like we haven't folded in half, but trust me, it's all going to come together in the end and look fantastic. On our second piece, we're going to do 3 score lines. The first one is going to be at 1.3 centimeters, and you are correct. That's the same as what we just cut off the back. The second score line we're going to do is right down the middle at 10.5 centimeters, which we're going to go down there, and then we're going to move it along another 1.3 centimeters, which means your next score line is at the 11.8 centimeter mark. So you can see all of our score line measurements listed across there. If you need to, screenshot that so you can make this card later. I really hope you do. And we're going to make all of those folds, making sure they line up nice and straight. You can see I'm making sure across the cut edges there that they're all the same, and creasing them in well, and you can see we've made that box section. The last thing to do is on that first 1.3 centimeter, we're going to trim a tiny sliver. See how tiny that was off the back? It just makes it all come together with a little less bulk later on. Between the first and second fold line, we are going to cut our peekaboo window. I'm using a circle die today. It's a stitch circle die around about 2 3/4 inches, and I'm going to reuse that for the front of the card later on. Before I do, I'm just going to put some adhesive down on that flap and pop this piece to the side. For the front of the card, I am using some scraps from my stash, cutting a slightly larger circle, about 3 1/4 inches. I'm using my Tim Holtz stamp platform. I've got the travel size to stamp the cute bunny from this Be Unique stamp set by Brutus Monroe onto the circle. I'm also going to stamp a couple of clouds, and I'm using Memento Tuxedo black ink, which isn't very dark, hence the double stamping. If you want to see how I colored those, there's a bonus Copic coloring video that you can watch, and I'll link to it below. So I'm going to just stick that down onto the blue circle, mat it, and this goes on the front of the card. We know it's the front because the back is a little bit short. I've placed the entire card front back into the travel platform, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment that says normal is boring. I love it. I think it's so cool. So I'm stamping that with Ranger Archival Jet Black ink. It's a really good dark black ink, and because I'm not putting Copics near it, I can do that. On the inner section of the card, you can see my peekaboo window there, and the flap with the adhesive is up the top. I've stamped another sentiment called March to the Beat of Your Own Drum. And on a spare piece of Express It blending card, I'm stamping the cat from this set using Memento Tuxedo black ink. Again, double stamping. I'm going to stamp 3 clouds because I want to use them as well. And this cat, the colouring is in the same bonus Copic colouring video. Again, you can find that down below. I fussy cut the clouds on the line and the cat. I left that kind of die cut look. Now it's time to prep our background. I'm using a gorgeous Lawn Fawn really rainbow pattern paper. It's called Pink Tutu, and I've cut a piece approximately just a little over 9 centimeters by 12 centimeters, and that's going to go on the inside. It's our background for our very rainbowy cat. So I've put it on with some 3mm double-sided tape, and this is the section you'll see through that peekaboo window. Now it's time to line up what's going to create the shadows in our shadow box. For this little kitty, I'm placing him over the top to use the edges as a guide so I know where to put my glue. I love this Tombow Mono. And I've stuck that onto the front. Now you can stick things in the background, you can stick them in the foreground, over the top, under the circle, all sorts of things. 2 of the clouds are going on the rainbow cardstock, so they're in the background. But the third one, I've put the glue on the front and it's going to be stuck up in there underneath there, so it's going to cast a shadow on our inside box. Let's put this card together, peel off the release tape, put that right up in the center, make sure it's all lined up straight and press it down, peel off the tape in the back and fold the whole thing over so that raw edge meets the folded edge, and then we want to open and close it and press in those folds a few times just to make sure the mechanism is working. And that's it. That's how easy it is. But here is a little extra something. I thought, you know, this cat is so vibrant and the paper's so vibrant, I'm going to add something. So I've used this confetti die by Mama Elephant with a little Tombow liquid glue, and I'm created my own confetti to really give the inside of this card some extra wow factor. I've been wanting to use this confetti die for a really long time. This seemed like the perfect opportunity. I've used hearts and stars, and some of them are so super tiny. Oh, they're adorable. I've also used some metallic confetti as well, and we're done. This just was so much easier than I thought it would be, and so fun. One sheet of A4 card, a bunch of scraps, some stamps. Who knew it could be so amazing? I do hope you've enjoyed this project, especially for the Aussies who have been looking for some Australian measurements so they're not wasting cardstock. If you'd like more details, you can find links below to my blog and to the Copic colouring video. If you're looking for Brutus Monroe and Mama Elephant in Australia, you can find it at dawnlewis.com.au. I do hope that you have a very crafty day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.